Cardinals invade to take on the Gamecocks of South Carolina, and this Coliseum is rocking right now. A good crowd's on hand. Hello, everybody. I'm Fred White. Our analyst, Larry Conley. And Larry, just a glimpse at the Metro Conference standings can tell you how important this game is.
Fred, you can drop a dime over the clubs that are right there at the top. 6 of the 7 teams that are in the Metro right now have a chance to win it. This is a very big basketball team for both of these clubs here today.
Louisville putting on what seems to be their typical February rush right now. They always play so well in February, and they're going at it again pretty well. They've won 4 in a row in the conference.
Well, they have, and they're playing much better. And I think they're getting an improved play from Herbert Crook on the defensive end. Purvis Ellison is doing much better. Let's take a look at some of these standings right now in the Metro Conference. When we start talking about throwing a dime over them, look at them. You can see from 1 to 6 right there, Virginia Tech all the way down to South Carolina. But getting back to Louisville, the fact that they've got Crook playing so much better, and I think Louisville may have the best 6th man coming off the bench in the Metro Conference in Mike Abram.
Very important player. What about South Carolina? They've lost 4 in a row in the conference. Is fatigue a factor with them, you think, right now?
It could be. They're a club that works very hard on defense, and they're being out-rebounded right now. They need to turn that back around. I think it's going to be a tough game for them today.
So the matchup here again today in Columbia, South Carolina. It's the Gamecocks of South Carolina against the Cardinals of Louisville. We'll be back to meet the starting lineups in just a moment. Look at us announcer Gene McKay.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Carolina Coliseum in the Frank McGuire Arena, the home of the University of South Carolina Fighting Gamecocks. Here are the lineups for this afternoon's ball game. First of all, for the Cardinals of Louisville, from Laurel, Mississippi, a junior at forward, number 21, Kenny Payne. From Louisville, a senior at forward, number 41, Herbert Crook. From Savannah, Georgia, a junior at center, number 42, Purvis Ellison. From Louisville, a sophomore at guard, number 3, Keith Williams. From Bay City, Texas, a freshman at guard, number 23, LaBradford Smith. And the head coach of Louisville, Denny Crum. And now, here are your Gamecocks. At forward, number 31, a junior from Baltimore who scored his 1,000-point Thursday at Cincinnati to be the only 25th player in Carolina history to do so, number 31, Terry Dozier. And the other forward, number 32, from Anderson, a junior, John Hudson. From Columbia, a senior at center, number 44, Daryl Martin. From Pensacola, Florida, a senior at guard, number 10, Terry Gould. And from Darlington, a senior at guard, number 15, Tony Shaw. And the head coach of the Fighting Gamecocks is George Felton.
So you've met the starting lineups. We're just about set to play some basketball here in Columbia, South Carolina this afternoon. The fans are ready, so are we. And we'll be back right after this from your local stations. Been playing outstanding basketball. The officials, Herman Ramsey, Bobby Ola, and Ben Dunn in charge of the proceedings here this afternoon. There's Purvis Ellison having an outstanding junior season. Louisville leading the series 8-1. They have won 7 straight, and they're 2 out of 3 here in Columbia, South Carolina in their history. And they have the basketball. Keith Williams. So what's Carolina's defense early, Larry?
Fred, they're in a man-to-man. When we visited with George Felton yesterday, he told us they were going to come out and really get after him. In fact, he told me, he said, if I have to, I'm going to put my uniform on and come back and get after him.
Crook along the baseline with that fadeaway jumper, trying to crawl over the rim, and a won't, and Dozier takes it away.
This is one of the areas where South Carolina has been struggling of late, and that's in rebounding. They've been out-rebounded in 6 of their last 9 games.
Ellison deflected, and LaBradford Smith is in open court, but it's stolen by Tony Shaw. Back comes Gould to the circle, to the baseline, and Hudson gets it. He's going to be called for a charge, but he's going to get the bucket. John Hudson gets the first 2 points in the basketball game and the first foul. Larry, one thing about the way Carolina's going to come out and attack them, well, let's watch the play first.
Well, you see the turnover right there. It was a good play by Shaw to get the ball away from LeBradford Smith. They got the ball immediately to Gould at midcourt, who kicked it off to Hudson. Purvis Ellison did a great job of getting in position to draw that charge.
Carolina with the press. What I was going to say is Carolina's had a penchant for foul trouble this year, especially John Hudson. He has committed 75 personal fouls in 22 games. Payne's shot won't fall. Look at Carolina get on the boards, and Daryl Martin has it.
Richard, you notice how they surrounded the basket that time, and there were no Louisville players around.
Dozier was trying to get to the bucket, and Payne was called for the blocking foul, so Kenny Payne draws one.
South Carolina's out of the gate quickly. They're getting down the floor and getting back and getting some fast break opportunities.
All right, back to the foul thing for just a moment. Daryl Martin's fouled out of 3 games, Gould 3, John Hudson's fouled out of 4, Dozier a couple, and Barry Manning off the bench a couple, Brent Price 1. That's a lot of people fouling out of ball games. That's probably a mark of that aggressive defense they play.
And in particular, the strategy they're trying to use today to get after Louisville. Boy, almost a steal by Keith Williams right there. Williams has had an ankle problem. He hurt it in the Cincinnati game on Monday, but he looks like he's fully recovered.
Working on defense here against Gould. Louisville being very aggressive. Now there's going to be a foul in the lane. Dozier was trying to fight his way through there. LeBradford Smith has been called for a foul. Larry, when these two teams played in Louisville, the first half belonged to South Carolina. They played such strong defense, and Louisville in the second half of that game slapped defense on South Carolina that you could hardly believe, and they're playing with that same aggression here today.
You know, the stat that I found hard to believe in that game was the fact that South Carolina did not get a field goal in the last 3 minutes of the first half or the first 8 minutes of the second half.
Something like 8:32 in the second half without scoring. John Hudson off balance, fires it up, won't go. Crook had a hand on it, and a foul's going to be called on Tony Shaw. A 6'4" guard was down in there rebounding.
Well, he talked about the rebounding of ability of South Carolina underneath their the Louisville basket. That time, Crook got good defensive position inside for that rebound, and you see South Carolina come back with the press.
Tony Shaw's a good rebounder. He's averaging 3 a game. He's a good leaper. Williams. Bradford Smith in the corner. LeBradford fires it down along the baseline. Ellison turns, shoots, can't get it. Whoa, that was Kenny Payne to go back and get it.
A good follow-up by Kenny Payne.
Scores tied at 2. We've had a lot more activity than we've had scoring already in this ball game. Both teams very active on defense. Daryl Martin out on the floor, out of his range. Now to Shaw.
Fred, that's not a bad strategy to let Martin take the ball out there and get Ellison away from underneath the basket.
Some of that size out of there. Gould tried to throw a backhanded pass in there. It was kicked away. They get a new 45-second clock. The score tied at 2-2. 17:54 left in the first half, so we played 2:06 and only had 1 bucket for each team. So tell you about the defense they're playing. Dozier had it knocked out of his hand. Williams in open court, and Dozier came back and blocked it, but he's going to be called for a foul.
An intentional foul. Ben Dunn raised his hands above his head and crossed them as if to indicate an intentional foul, and it is. It's going to be an intentional foul. That's 2 shots and the ball. Watch Keith Williams take place. See him look over his shoulder right there. He was waiting for him to catch up. Boy, he really caught him good, too. Watch it down underneath there. You'll see Williams going in for the layup and Dozier trailing. There's the foul.
You think that's an intentional foul?
I don't think it is, but that's the way they're going to call it.
They're going to call it that way. I don't think so. He was going for the block, and he fouled him, obviously. But I'm not so sure about the intentional part of it. Williams misconnected. George Felton, of course, doesn't believe it. Still tied at 2. Williams trying to break it, does. 3-2 Louisville, and now they're going to have the basketball. I haven't talked about that call in a long time. We did talk about it at the start of the year. I really don't like the call.
Well, it's the type of call, you know, it really is the official's judgment. He's got to look at the play and make a determination as to whether or not the intent of the player was to commit the foul and intentional. And sometimes you can commit an intentional foul and not be in a situation where it looks intentional. And I think that time, Dozier just like he went right over the back trying to block the ball.
I should say I don't like the call. I don't like the rule. That's what I should say. It just puts one more burden on an official that he really doesn't need. Back to the game. Williams. Purvis at the high post, starts a move in the lane, had it knocked out of his hand by Hudson. Look at Hudson go up and get it. Woo! He took over. Gould against Crook. Dozier from the wing. Good. 4-3, South Carolina.
Good pressure again. Almost a steal by Hudson right there.
Now it's knocked loose by Shaw, and he goes out of bounds with the basketball. Boy, are they active?
I don't think George Felton was kidding yesterday when he said, we're going to come out and get after him. His press is being very effective right now against this Cardinal offense. South Carolina doing a lot of good and slapping the ball away from Louisville.
You saw a guy in a 34 red jersey stroll onto the court. Mike Abram, who's become about as good a six-man as there is in the country, Larry.
Excellent player. I tell you, they don't lose anything when he comes in the game.
He has played great basketball for this Louisville ball club. Williams with the basketball right now, works against Shaw. Now Crook. Martin comes out to cover him. That leaves Hudson down inside on Ellison. That's an interesting matchup, isn't it, the way they've got him set up on defense?
Yeah, Ellison 6'9", Hudson 6'6".
And Martin, the center, out covering Crook, the forward. Purvis. Abram throws to Crook. Baseline. That'd be a tough shot if he can get it. He's going to take it. Won't fall. And there's Payne to stick it back. His second offensive rebound basket. That is 5-4 Louisville.
Louisville staying in that man-to-man defense. They're going to run that flex. They spent a lot of time yesterday in practice on their offense. Keith Williams with another steal.
That's the third time today that he's got his hand on the ball trying to save it inbounds, and Abram shovels it to his leg, and now Gould takes it away. Oh, what a sequence.
Who wants the ball?
The ball got centered twice in there. Two guys threw it back through their legs. Hey, Williams is really playing great defense right now for Louisville. Down in the lane, Gould had it knocked loose, trying to save it. To Shaw, to Dozier. Purvis Ellison out covering. Dozier down the baseline with a tough shot that he can't stick. But Martin can on the rebound.
Well, that's the one thing the Gamecocks have been lacking is that good offensive rebounding ability inside. And you saw Daryl Martin right there trying to help them get it back.
5 different players have scored, and it's just a 6-5 ball game. And now we've got a foul in the lane on Purvis Ellison. His first. Kenny Payne has 4 points. Keith Williams 1, Dozier 2, Hudson 2, and Daryl Martin 2 for South Carolina. And we have a timeout here. Denny Crum talking to the officials. Timeout with 15:34 left in our first half. And we'll be right back after this from Pete.
Class of 75, and his name was George Felton. Yeah, he did play a lot on the bench. In fact, he never scored a point at the University of South Carolina, and he's now the head mentor here for the Gamecocks.
There he is today, and you know what? He must have been paying a lot of attention to practice because he turned into an outstanding coach, hasn't he?
He has become a great basketball coach. He's one of the good young minds in this game, Fred, and I really think he's going to become something great here at the University of South Carolina.
Louisville has hit 2 of their first 5 shots. South Carolina 3 of their first 5. South Carolina with the basketball, leading by 1 with 15:30 left in first half action. The Louisville press. Crook got a hand on it. They're in trouble in backcourt, and they turn it over. Ellison comes up with it. Purvis might have been hit in the eye, but I think he's all right. LeBradford Smith now works against Barry Manning. Payne drops it down in the lane. Crook got bumped all the way out to the wing. The shot won't go for him. He might be forcing him just a little bit right now.
Yeah, I think maybe they were covering him pretty deep that time, and he tried to fade away and shoot a jump shot. That's not his typical shot. He usually likes to lean into that shot a little bit, and he was far, far away from the basket.
When he caught the ball, Martin had the body on him and kind of moved him out a little bit further on the floor.
In fact, he bumped him twice.
Gould works through the press to midcourt. Crook's going to pick him up now way outside. Got a 6'7" man out there covering a guard. Martin in the lane. Dozier working hard, can't find a shot. Manning back down to Dozier, takes it. Ellison blocks it. His 69th block of the year. LeBradford Smith in open court with the basketball. He's going to take a 3, short with a try. And Dozier had a hand on it, could not hold on.
Loose balls are such an important part of this game, and Terry Dozier had a chance to grab that one right there and save it for the Gamecocks, but Louisville's going to get it back. Bradford Smith a little bit out of his range that time. He's a good 3-point shooter, but I think he might have been 2 or 3 steps beyond what is typically his range. You know what happened there? Herbert Crook threw the ball in, and it hit Martin's hand and then hit the floor. Watch it again. Watch the ball hit his hand and go right down. See it? It hit his hand, and they get the ball back again.
And LeBradford Smith misses the shot. The ball loose in the lane, picked up by Gould. 6-5 South Carolina. We've played 5.5 minutes. The action has been extremely intense, and there's not much scoring, but there's a lot of defense going on.
Turnovers have become a big problem for both of these clubs early on.
Brent Price checks into the South Carolina lineup. Terry Gould is going to take a little bit of a breather here. Price, a shooter, a freshman from Enid, Oklahoma. Look at the turnovers so far. South Carolina 5, Louisville 4. Again, the defensive pressure has been so intense.
South Carolina's changed defenses, Fred. Excuse me. They've gone to a zone.
Purvis Ellison, tough catch. Look at the double team on him. And a foul's called on John Hudson. That's 2 fouls on John Hudson. We're going to talk about his foul problems earlier. He's fouled out of 4 games. He's had 75 personal fouls called in 22 games coming into here, and now he's got 2 early in this one.
Well, when you're a Purvis Ellison and the ball comes inside like that, you're going to attract a lot of attention, and that time South Carolina surrounded him, and Hudson bumped him. Purvis does a nice job with that little turnaround jumper underneath there, and you got to get to him pretty quickly.
Purvis outside.
South Carolina stays in that zone defense. You can see Terry Dozier on the point of it at 6'9". He provides a lot of problems out there because of his wingspan.
Kenny Payne rings a 3 from the deep corner. He has 7 of Louisville's 8 points, and it's 8-6 Cardinals.
How about Kenny Payne at 6'8", going out there and shooting beyond 3-point range?
Trouble. Gamecocks turn it over, and Louisville's defense forcing another turnover. Gould is coming right back into the lineup now for South Carolina. The freshman Barry Manning sits down.
It's a nice touch. George Felton just went over to the freshman and said, it's okay, don't worry about it, we'll get you right back in there. South Carolina again has gone out of that zone now. You see the pressure. Brent Price out there guarding LeBradford Smith. Well, you talk about 2 good freshmen. How about those guys going to face up each other? Smith's got a foul. Offensive foul.
Price just hit the deck. He got hammered by LeBradford Smith down low, and it's the 2nd foul on LeBradford. L.A., as he's called by his teammates, I think is coming out of the ballgame. Keith Williams is checking in, and LeBradford is having a conversation, rather one-sided, with one of the officials before he leaves the ballgame. So Williams in, Bradford Smith out, Denny Crum looking on.
Fred, I talked about those 2 freshmen. Brent Price and LeBradford Smith are going to be excellent players to watch in this Metro Conference in the future. They're 2 of the better freshmen in this league.
I agree, in the country. Terry Dozier almost traveled, but got the shot up and hit it. Terry Dozier has 4. Thought he was going to walk for a minute, Larry.
Well, he kept that pivot foot down, and that's the only thing that saved him. I think he was looking to pass the ball, and then everybody dropped off, and he threw it up.
This game is tied at 8. 13:04 left in the first half. Herbert Crook very deep on the wing, and Martin not giving him any room, even that far from the basket. Mike Abram hit in the corner by Manning. Payne trying to lob it. Oh, good catch by Purvis Ellison. The shot won't fall. The tip won't go. And South Carolina has it. Terry Dozier pulls it down.
Well, how about that for a strong rebound? Purvis Ellison with a couple of easy shots inside. Couldn't get it to go.
Carolina fans applauding the Gamecocks. Look at Ellison out covering Martin on the floor. Manning. I'll tell you what, they won't give a center room from 35 feet. They're playing them so tight.
Both clubs play an excellent man-to-man defense.
Martin with a good catch down inside. Can't bury the shot. Manning picks it up. Won't go. Look at Hudson battle for it. And it's loose on the floor, and Williams moves on Brent Price. Taken away by Price. And out come the Gamecocks. Price going to work against Abram, is going to shut it down for a minute.
Well, that was some activity there. There were more people laying on the floor than there were running.
Dozier is going to be called for the charge, and he did not score the basket. 2 points, or 2 fouls rather, on Terry Dozier. And we're still tied at 8 with 12 minutes left in the first half. Larry, they don't need the basketball. They can just put the basketball over on one side and go up and down the floor and bang into one another.
You know, what's happening is they're missing a lot of easy shots. Both clubs are, and they're turning the ball over. But I've got to credit the defense. I think both defenses are really getting after each other. Louisville's man-to-man. South Carolina's been alternating defenses. They go to a man-to-man, then they've been using the 3-2 zone. But they've been very, very effective with it.
Williams against Price. Abram.
Good backdoor.
And Crook can't drop it. Felton Spencer just off the bench had 1. And now he and Martin get tangled up, and Martin is going to be called for the foul, his first.
And again, Fred, they missed an easy shot underneath. Felton Spencer had it. Herbert Crook had it. They couldn't get it to go in.
Martin almost got undressed in the melee down under the basket there. Felton Spencer, a 7-footer, a sophomore from Louisville, was fouled, and we have timeout here with 11:46 left in the first half. It's a
Is shooting it up, lights out in the NBA.
Brother Mark, Dad Dennis back coaching after a heart attack, so the family's on the upswing right now, Larry. Things are going well. 8-8 time. Field goal percentage is not very good. Defense, great so far in this basketball game, and aggressive. Abrams lobs to Felton Spencer. It's blocked by Daryl Martin, and it's going to be South Carolina basketball.
I got to tell you to this point that this has been about as ugly an 8 minutes of basketball as you could possibly want to watch, but it's had as much excitement as 8 minutes of basketball as I've seen all year.
Larry, I'm a little surprised that the benches aren't guarding one another as aggressive as the defenses are in this. They might as well just go down and cover one another. 11-17 left in first half action, and Williams has another steal, and the lob goes
Great
up to
pass.
Herb Crook.
Great pass.
Yeah.
Boy, give Keith Williams credit. That was an excellent defensive play to steal the ball, then made a good pass to Crook, who was streaking to the other end. Nice play on both ends.
Larry, how about this? Crook's first 2 points, and Purvis Ellison hasn't scored yet for Louisville. And it's 10-8, Cardinals by 2. Very low-scoring ball game. It stays like this, the score would wind up 40-32.
We know that's not going to happen.
Brent Price, baseline, takes the drive, can't get it. The ball on the floor to Hudson. Forces it up there, doesn't go, and a foul is called down along the baseline. Oh. Well, I think everybody that gets a shot inside expects to get hammered. One reason they're not making it. 2 substitutions, Purvis Ellison, Louisville. Terry Gill, South Carolina.
Well, this is where you drop an anvil on a guy's arm. I think this is what happened. You're going to see Abram commit the foul. Price with a very poor shot right there. The 2 Louisville players, Payne and Crook, try to come up with the ball. Hudson comes up with it and gets fouled by Abram on the backside. There's a foul right there. Abram came after it. It was too bad because the 2 Louisville players, both Payne and Crook, had their hands on the ball and lost it.
John Hudson missed the free throw attempt. He's a 70% shooter, a 6'8 junior from Anderson, South Carolina's Crescent High School. He played at San Jacinto Junior College before transferring here. Well, they were going to redshirt him at the start of the year, and then he just played his way right into the lineup.
George Felton said he was playing so well in practice, couldn't afford to redshirt him. He had to have it.
Hey, how about Purvis Ellison? But almost had it taken away by Brent Price, but Ellison saves it. Well, he has those great hands. Daryl Martin tried to tip it back out and couldn't get it. Now it comes out of there. Gould on the dead run with it. Price blocked and a foul called on Keith Williams. First on Keith Williams.
You can almost see Price just setting that trigger finger. He was ready to release that one, and Williams knew it too, and he got there as soon as the ball hit his hands. You know, Keith Williams is playing an excellent defensive game today, Fred. He is all over that floor. I've already counted him with 3 steals, and he almost got a block right there, but he ended up getting Price on the elbow.
Brent Price, the freshman, a great free thrower. 91% free throw shooter, one of the very best in the country. All right, let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen more aggressive defense played 30, 35 feet away from the basket?
No, I've never seen 2 clubs get after each other, at least this year, like these 2 are here this afternoon. And I think with good cause. I think they're both good defensive clubs. Denny Crum and George Felton do stress it. And there's a turnover right there. It goes back to South Carolina.
11-10, South Carolina. 10:08 left in the first half. Sorry, that is 8 turnovers, South Carolina, 7 Louisville now. There have already been 15 turnovers and a little under 10 minutes of action. 10:08 left in the first half. Terry Dozier way outside, short with a try. And Ellison is going to let the ball go out of bounds. It's going to be Louisville basketball.
You know who was out there guarding when he released that one from 3-point range? Purvis Ellison.
Oh, what a 10 minutes of basketball. Herb Crook, tough catch. And that one, Dozier covering at the baseline that tough. Now he's double teamed, trying to get rid of it. Throws a high lob to Abram.
That was a Hail Mary.
Oh. Look at Ellison being defended by Hudson. On the out-of-bounds strike. Williams to the circle. Shot, no. Tip try, Abrams, no.
Hudson again, I think. Yeah.
Well, that's Hudson's 3rd foul. The 3rd one comes with 9:38 left in the first half. And there's the foul trouble that we talked about at the beginning of the telecast, Larry.
Fred, you made an excellent point in talking about that because it has been a nemesis for John Hudson. And he's the type of player that he loves to play the game, and he plays it with reckless abandon. He goes up and down the floor, but that takes its toll after a while. And right now he's going to have to sit down for the rest of this first half.
George Felton talking to an official on the far side. Mike Abram to the free throw line. 6'4" senior from Muncie, Indiana's North High School. His dad, the superintendent of schools up there. We talked about him a little bit earlier. Maybe as good a 6-man right now as there is in the country, Larry. There's John Hudson on the bench. So Hudson is down with 9:38 left in the first half. Abrams' numbers. It's his first point of the day. Game is tied 11 now. And Abram unties it. Louisville goes back up by a point.
Louisville comes right back with that full court pressure, much like South Carolina has shown them.
Martin trying to inbounds. Does to Gould. Double team. They get it to Martin. On up to Shaw.
It's pretty good pressure that time by the Cardinals. South Carolina did not get that ball across midcourt easily.
Price defended by Abram. Shaw, Ellison out with him.
Ellison on Shaw.
That's a strange matchup. And deflection. Herbert Crook got a hand on it. Mike Abram to the top of the circle and tried to lob it to Ellison at the baseline and missed it.
Turnovers are killing Louisville, and they're hurting South Carolina for that matter. So what you've got so far in the storyline is you've got two teams with good defensive pressure and both clubs committing a lot of turnovers and not shooting well.
Gould clears the timeline.
I guess the only positive in all that is the fact that both teams are playing very good defense.
12-11 Louisville right now with 8:51 left in the first half. Dozier with a catch way out on the floor. Felton Spencer's covering him. The turnovers so far in this thing. 17 already. You know, at that pace, there would be nearly 65 turnovers in this game. Terry Dozier. 6 points for Terry Dozier.
I think somebody finally decided to take it to the hoop. Dozier says, I found an alley, and he went right down the middle past Spencer.
South Carolina now with a 1-point lead. Brent Price hits the deck trying to deflect the inbounds pass. Shaw's covering Crook in backcourt, and Crook is going to try to take him to the timeline. Now in the double team, he's fouled by Tony Shaw. Lord.
I'll tell you what, Price got there very quickly at midcourt, and he and Shaw almost got the ball away from Crook. Crook looks like he's tired. He and Mike Abrams both grabbing their trunks, holding on to them. They look like they're fatigued already.
Kenny Payne is going to replace Herb Crook as soon as, if Crook makes the free throw. Now Barry Manning will re-enter for South Carolina. Boy, they ought to be tired, Barry.
Fred, oftentimes in this kind of basketball game, it's the club that's in the best physical condition that ends up winning the game. Because if you go after each other defensively like this, the guys that come out here with their legs in good shape, but the club's going to walk away with a W.
Abrams going to sit down now. And Will Wallace is in. Larry raised a good point. Both Abram and Crook looking very tired. Crook will come out if he makes the free throw. And Benny Crum, noticing what you did, has got Abram back on the bench right now. And Brent Price is on the bench for South Carolina. Herb Crook hits the free throw. He has 3 points. Remember the purpose Ellison hasn't scored. He and Felton Spencer in the lineup together right now. Crook got them both. And he earns a rest. He will go to the bench now. Be replaced by Kenny Payne, the 6'8 junior. 14-13. You know, there haven't been a lot of lead changes because there haven't been that many points, but they're exchanging the lead every trip now, it seems like. For every time somebody scores, it means the lead.
I'll tell you, baskets are coming very, very tough in this game.
14-13 Louisville. 8:09 left in the first half. Gould against Payne. Now there's going to be a foul called against Felton Spencer down alongside the lane as he and Dozier were bumping. And Felton Spencer's first foul. A sophomore from Louisville's Eastern High School, the first 7-footer to play at Louisville.
I'm going to tell you something else about Felton Spencer. He committed that foul right there, but he really is improving with every game. Cincinnati game on Monday night, I really noticed a distinct improvement over his play of last year. He's getting better and better with each game. This young man's going to be a fine, fine player for Denny Crum by the time he gets out of here.
Just announced he's an honor roll student at Louisville. Also, so Shannon Craven, and so is Craig Hawley. Larry had a 4.0 last semester.
Much like we used to do in college, right?
Yes. On a scale of 11. Dozier. Terry Dozier gives South Carolina a 15-14 lead.
And immediately you see South Carolina come down and pick up Louisville full court, man-to-man. Good pressure that time by Manning. He had Hawley pinned all the way down on underneath that South Carolina basket and almost got the steal.
And again, it's not so evident because they aren't scoring very much, but every time a team scores, it puts them in front. They're just exchanging those 1-point leads right now. Charging foul on Craig Hawley. So Craig Hawley's going to be called for the charge. I think I said a while ago Will Ologist coming in the game. It was not. It was Hawley. 7:53 left in our first half. But we've got a timeout, and I think everybody could use one. The effort has been tremendous. 15-14 South Carolina.
Down the left side of that lane.
Terry Dozier has 10 points, and it's 19-14. South Carolina by 5, and Crook double team. Good pass up to Keith Williams. Great pass into Kenny Payne.
Boy, was that a tremendous assist by Keith Williams. and he was in heavy traffic. 3 South Carolina defenders around him.
Shaw hits it. Good shot by Tony Shaw. 21-16 Gamecock. Now the scoring pace being picked up a little bit. Williams in open court. For Hawley. Williams got the ball knocked out of his hand. Payne got hit in the eye, and Shaw slam dunks it at the other end. 4 points, Tony Shaw. Denny Crum trying to point out that Payne has got hit in the eye.
Well, the pressure is really tough right now by South Carolina.
Craig Hawley with the bucket. 7-point lead to South Carolina. There's the double team, and a foul is called on Barry Manning.
Fred, that was a great 1 minute of basketball for South Carolina. They got in and they got a steal at midcourt, came right back with that pressure again. And I think it really affected Louisville. Denny Crum right there upset by the fact that foul was not called when Kenny Payne got hit in the face.
Tell you what, there was some pretty good bumping going on at midcourt in that sequence. Tony Shaw now comes out of the game, and Brent Price in. Here's Craig Hawley on the free throw line, the 6'5" sophomore from Noblesville, Indiana. We just mentioned a 4-point student. His dad played at the University of Louisville. So there's some Cardinal tradition here. Got them both to Craig Hawley. And now Mike Abram replaces Hawley for Louisville. 23-18 South Carolina with 6:07 left in our first half.
Interesting, little Bradford Smith has not been back in the game for some time.
3. Been out of there since the early minutes of the game now. Brent Price. Barry Manning. Keith Williams got it. And that is the second foul on Keith Williams. 5 minutes, 50 seconds left in the first half here. Denny Crum now chattering at one of the officials. Both coaches have been upset. Now Fabiola, the official, tells Denny Crum to lighten up. Brent Price on the line.
The entire student section rose as one and said, put a T on it.
Ooh, that's unusual. Brent Price missed a front end of a 1-and-1. And here comes Louisville down 5. Williams against Price. Mike Abram. Payne. Purvis Ellison.
Great
Good
pass.
Well, the ball knocked loose in there by Barry Manning, and then he was standing on the out-of-bounds stripe when he touched it the next time after it was deflected again.
Good defensive play by Manning that time inside. I thought Crook was going to go up and just stub it.
They're getting great help on Ellison down in there, I think. Now John Breckenridge is going to enter the lineup for South Carolina. Breckenridge played in the past year, was not going to play basketball this year, then just at the end of the preseason came back to the team, and he's going to get some playing time now because Perry Dozier's hurt.
Watch Manning standing out of bounds. The ball comes back in, and his heels look at him trying to get off the line.
Limbo up and limbo back.
No bar there, just got to reach for the ball.
5:24 left in the first half. 23-18 South Carolina. Williams had a notion, now throws it away. Picked off by Darryl Martin. Long pass and a great pass to Gould up court. Blocked by Keith Williams and taken away by Herbert Crook.
Well, you talk about great defensive plays. Right there, Keith Williams with an excellent block inside.
Lord, we're seeing some defense in this thing. 5 minutes left in the half. Herbert Crook to Ellison inside, and he slams it home, and it's his first 2 points of the ball game. 23-20 South Carolina now. The Gamecocks haven't scored for a while. 4:47 left in the first half. Gould against Abram. Breckenridge. Dozier to Brent Price. Crook is on him. Oh, he almost lost it. Now Breckenridge takes a shot and missed it. Martin had a hand on it, can't hold it. They're 3-on-1 against Price. Crook in the middle, and the ball was deflected, and it's going to be out of bounds to Louisville.
Good call.
Yes.
Good call.
Here the Gamecock lineup, Tony Shaw to the 15,
23-20. South Carolina by 3. Breckenridge and Price come out of the lineup now. But Bradford Smith's going to come back in now for Louisville. All right.
But I was wondering if Denny Crum might have had him sitting on the bench because he had 2 personal fouls. I think he has 2 fouls, and maybe he didn't want him to pick up that third one, and that's why he sat him over there for that length of time.
Well, maybe. He and Keith Williams each have 2, and he probably didn't want both guards to get into some foul trouble. Smith
good pass.
Ellis, good fake shot. Ellison couldn't get the shot down, but a foul's going to be called on Daryl Martin, his second.
You know, that's an excellent play right there by little Bradford Smith. You come into the basketball game, you get your hands on the basketball, and the first thing you do is you kick it into your postman inside and try to get him the ball. Ellison's had a tough first half, but I think the result of that is South Carolina's defense was just collapsed around him.
This is unusual. 5 South Carolina players have 2 personal fouls each. Ellison's free throw good. Purvis now has 3 points. For Louisville, Keith Williams and LaBradford Smith each have 2. For South Carolina, Dozier, Hudson, Martin, Shaw, and Manning all have 2. Ellison now has 4 points, and it's a 1-point lead to South Carolina with 4:19 left in the first half. Shaw, Terry Dozier going to take it to the bucket and score. And Terry Dozier has a dozen points. 25-22 Gamecocks.
He's got almost 50% of South Carolina's total points here in the first half.
Had an excellent first half. LaBradford Smith against Manning, working to the baseline. Now the ball knocked loose, and Manning takes it away. They're 5-on-4 right now, but Crook is catching up, and now it's 5-on-5. Abram got a hand on it.
You just cannot get a clean pass in this game. Everybody's got a hand on it.
It is wild here. Take a timeout, and everybody needs one. 3:49 left in first half action here. It's a 3-point lead.
It's dumped right there.
Sweeping right through it. Louisville shot just 32% so far. South Carolina 52%, but they only lead by 3. Turnovers, Louisville 11, South Carolina 9. There are times where they can just throw the ball away and go to wrestling out there. Dozier having trouble holding on to the ball. Now kicks it back outside. It's deflected by Mike Abram. Oh, he tipped it. Great tip up to LaBradford. And a tremendous move, but they can't hold on. And here we go the other way. Dozier with the ball. Great feed down to Gould, and they get the 2 out of it.
Well, that was a tough break for Louisville, Fred, because they had the numbers on the other end and lost the ball, and then South Carolina brought it back and converted.
You know, Mike Abram made a great play, Larry.
He really did. He tipped the ball to LaBradford Smith, who kicked it away. South Carolina gets the basket. They're up by 5.
3:15 left in first half action here. Mike Abram, LaBradford Smith. Crook with a tough catch, turns, double team, fires it down inside to Abram. Good work by Louisville.
You know, when you get double teamed like that, somebody's got to be open. He found Abram underneath that basket. Abram stuck it in.
4 points, Mike Abram, 27-24, South Carolina. Shaw, Manning.
Have you noticed how the passes now are beginning to go a little bit wider each time? Because the defensive pressure is so great that the guys are not able to make those good, clean, short passes.
Dylan Martin had it knocked loose, but Dozier saves it. And Dozier now has 14 points and 29-24 South Carolina.
Well, Manning's all over Smith out top.
Charging foul on LaBradford Smith. That's his 3rd foul, Larry.
Well, he was really upset, too, that he did that. Manning got in good defensive position to draw it, and he gave a little bit of an Academy Award performance there. I think that goes with college basketball today. You got to be able to fall back on your back when it looks like you may have gotten or drawn a charge.
Just reminding us that down at Freedom Hall, South Carolina had the lead at halftime in that game and then lost it. Barry Manning. Shot attempt right at block. Williams trying to dig it out there. Stolen by Shaw, and they get the 2. Tony Shaw now has a half dozen points.
Well, Keith Williams got in a tough position down there. He was sitting on his backside and couldn't come up with the ball, and there was nothing but white shirts in front of him. There's Ellison with a good move. Yes, Purvis Ellison with a good turnaround move down low on the block.
Well, that game in Louisville was low scoring too. It was 29-27 at halftime. South Carolina led by 2. This one's 31-26 right now. 1:31 left in first half action. Gould.
I think Abram got lost that time, and Gould just floated underneath and got the pass. That time, Abram looked around to Ellison as if to say, "Where was your help?"
There the large number of turnovers in this game. Williams shakes Manning, misses the shot, and Manning on the floor tried to shovel it back outside. Williams takes it away for Louisville. South Carolina up by 7 with 1 minute left in first half action here. Louisville getting a second life on offense, and Herbert Crook can't find a shot. Look at Ellison battling to keep it alive, and now a foul's going to be called on, was it Gould?
Shaw.
Shaw.
Yeah, I think it was Tony Shaw.
And that's going to be number 3 on Tony Shaw. There'll be some people in foul trouble before this game's over.
Well, I said it early in the, or midway here in the first half, that I really felt like maybe the benches are going to determine this game because both clubs are getting real tired. They're playing a lot of hard defense. The fouls are becoming a major problem.
See Michael Glover checking into the lineup now for South Carolina, 6'5" freshman. He was the AAA Player of the Year last year, and he's playing with a bad knee. He's going to have a knee operation at the end of the year. Mike Abram to the line. 2 for 2 at the free throw line. And it rolls off the rim, and Louisville struggling on offense right now. But there's a walk called on Daryl Martin. And another opportunity. Louisville getting 3 straight cracks at it. Abrams out, Felton Spencer in.
And it was another turnover that time by South Carolina. There's George Felton up shouting instructions to his defense. Tell you what, he does work that sideline. I think he's created a groove in one of the wooden planks over there in the out-of-bounds area.
Constantly pacing back and forth. Williams. 42 seconds left in the half. Ellison to the circle, had it knocked loose, saved by Kenny Payne. Payne takes it to the circle, puts up the jumper. No, Spencer keeps it alive. Payne's got it again, shoots again, misses again. And South Carolina tried to come up with it, but a foul was called against Herbert Crook. That's the first on Herbert Crook. 30 seconds left in the half, and South Carolina has a 7-point lead, and they will go to the free throw line.
Fred, I don't believe I've ever seen a half of basketball this year that has been played as hard as these two clubs have done here this afternoon. They really have gotten after each other on defense, and we expected that out of both teams. We thought they'd come out here and play hard, but the defense has just been overwhelming.
Pretty good move by George Felton right there. Larry just took Daryl Martin out. He has 2 fouls and got John Breckenridge in for the last 30 seconds of the half. Dozier's free throw good. What a half he's had. Terry Dozier 3 for 3 on the line with 15 points. And South Carolina now with an 8-point lead at 34-26. Dozier off the rim. And a foul was called on Michael Glover, the freshman from Columbia, from Kenan High School here. Speaking of high schools, there's going to be a pretty big high school game in here tonight. They're going to draw about 10,000 people for a high school game.
Well, they got the 2 best high school players in the state, or at least purported to be. Stanley Roberts and Joe Redd coming in here to play in the game tonight. Redd is yet unsigned. Stanley Roberts going to LSU. He is a great player.
Free throw, good. Herbert Crook with his 5th point. He's 3 for 3 on the line. Now he could get Louisville within 6 points here. 29 seconds left in the half.
Now, obviously, South Carolina's going to get the last shot in the first half.
Crook from Louisville. There are 5 Louisville players on this Cardinal Ball Club. Got them both. So 6-point lead now to South Carolina. 29 seconds left in the half. Gould against Crook at midcourt. Crook got a hand on it. Gould still working with it, though. 21 seconds left in the half. And the Gamecocks up by 6, and they have the basketball.
Well, Keith Williams almost got a steal from Price.
11 seconds left in the half. Price. 4 seconds left in the half. They're going to have to fire. Dozier badly off balance, misses, and that's the end of the half. And South Carolina will take a 6-point lead to the locker room after a very, very tough first half of basketball here. Both teams really getting after one another on the defense. There's Denny Crum walking off with his ball club. They were down by 2 to the South Carolina team at halftime in Louisville and came back to win. Can they do it here on the road today? That's been tough to do, and we'll talk more about that at halftime. Here it is, 34-28 South Carolina. We're back after this from your local station. In my speech to the Academy, too.
The second half of this basketball game, you know, John Hudson looks like he's not going to start the second half here. He's got those 3 fouls, and I guess George Felton felt like it was better he sit over there and maybe watch him a little bit before he get him back in there. He got those fouls all in the first 11 minutes of the basketball game and really had to sit over and watch the rest of it. You can see him sitting there, and he is the leading scorer for the South Carolina team.
So George Felton, castling, I guess, if you're playing chess.
Well, you got to take a chance right now, and I think maybe it might be a pretty good move since Hudson had to sit over there so much in the first half to go back with the guys that carried him because he does have a 6-point lead.
Manning Martin, Dozier wide open along the baseline, and he sticks it, and Terry Dozier has 17 points. And South Carolina immediately gets that 8-point lead back to start the second half of the ballgame.
And immediately South Carolina comes back with that pressure. Man-to-man, this time Manning, who is starting the second half on Williams.
Another thing about the turnover totals at halftime, and there's a near turnover. There would be 52 turnovers in the ballgame if they just have that same number in the second half. Now Payne turns and scores, and he has 11 points.
Good assist by LaBradford Smith to get the ball inside.
Well, Martin, nice pass inside to Manning, and Keith Williams fouled him, and that's going to be the third foul on Keith Williams. So there are two Louisville players, both guards, Williams and LaBradford Smith, that have 3.
There are times when South Carolina runs that flex offense, the 1-4 down underneath, that they are very, very proficient in setting those screens. And that time they got Keith Williams hung up, and that's why Manning was so open.
Williams is coming out of the ballgame. Mike Abram, the super sub, is in to replace him. Barry Manning at the free throw line, a 6'4" freshman from here in Columbia, from Eau Claire High School. 2 points in the first half, and hit the front of the rim, and it ruffled over and went in. Manning's had trouble at the line, just a 50% free throw shooter. How about that funny little hitch he had right there? 4 points now for Barry Manning. Again, the 8-point lead to South Carolina. Ellison to LaBradford Smith. Back to Ellison. Look at him come up in open court with a basketball. And he's going to take it. And he got it. They left him a little bit of daylight, and Purvis Ellison took it.
I think Dozier didn't expect him to take it all the way into the basket, and he just fooled him and took it right in like a guard.
Well, when he picked up his dribble, I don't know if maybe they didn't think he could get to the basket with 1 or 2 steps as quickly as he did. Gould with a tough shot down in the lane. Gary Gould has 6. Purvis can take such great big steps. He just got there in a hurry.
You know what's amazing about this South Carolina defense is that there is no help on this pressure man-to-man full court defense. Everybody's just lining up toe-to-toe and guarding people 94 feet.
Ellison couldn't stick one, has it back, going to take it down the lane, had it knocked loose and picked up by Herbert Crook. Mike Abram, big bucket off the baseline for Louisville. He has 6, and the Cardinals are down by 6. Well, I don't think it'd be fun to get the basketball inside today.
I don't think it'd be fun to have the ball at all.
Not even down the street somewhere. Somebody would come out of the building and guard you. Dozier. Shaw. Trying to get it inside, and Payne knocked it loose. LaBradford Smith, a good catch. Now it's knocked loose by Shaw, who's out of bounds with the basketball, and Louisville will get it.
Just when you thought it was safe to make a pass, here comes another hand.
17:46 left in the game. Crook outside. LaBradford, I like that. LaBradford Smith with a 3-point attempt, but won't go. Okay, more of those? Gould, 17:35 left in this game. Mark Abram knocks it loose, and now it's going to be saved by Shaw at the baseline.
Mike Abrams got great hands. He's very, very quick.
He's guarding Daryl Martin right now.
Mike Abrams. There's a steal by Crook, but lost it again.
Martin saves it. Baseline Shaw tries to work against Payne and stepped on the out-of-bounds strike. It's one of the more unusual games I've ever seen. Right?
I'm going to tell you what happened right there. Louisville was in bad defensive position. They recovered so quickly. Payne got back to that baseline. It caused Shaw to look up and see somebody standing there, and I think he thought he had a wide open lane to the basket. Great defensive work by the Cardinals again.
Now Price goes to work on LaBradford Smith. Smith brings it to the timeline and on a cross. Behind the back, down in the lane. He's going to take the shot. Won't fall for him, and look at the strong rebound there by Daryl Martin for South Carolina.
I think LaBradford Smith might have forced that shot a little bit. Denny Crum wanted to run a little bit of half-court offense.
Price in the lane, shovels the pass to the baseline. Manning to the bucket. Can't get it. Herbert Crook can for Louisville. Cardinals down 6 with 16:35 left in the game.
The clubs have picked up right where they left off in the first half.
Abram. Payne, turnaround shot. Good. Kenny Payne, he's having a good ball game. He has 13 points.
Nice turnaround, a little soft jumper right at the elbow.
with 16:10 left in the basketball game. Manning against Payne. Price for three. They left him wide open. That's the first three-point attempt for South Carolina today, Barry.
Well, they picked a great time to get it. Of course, there's always a good time to have a three-point field goal go your way.
43-36. South Carolina by 7 with 15:49 left. Again, they get it down inside to Payne. He's taking over inside, Larry. He's got 6 points in the second half now, 15 in the game. They've taken him down inside.
Yeah, and they're looking for him. The Louisville offense has decided they're going to go to Kenny Payne down underneath.
Price. Abram out on Price, and he fouled it. Mike Abram picks up his second personal foul. Now John Hudson's going to come back into the South Carolina lineup. So Hudson, who did not play since the 9:32 mark in the first half because of foul problems, is back in. We have a timeout here with 15:30 left in our basketball game.
And that's the reason they've got a 5-point lead right now.
So a while ago, that was the first three-point attempt even by South Carolina in the ball game. We've also talked about the fact the defense has really been covering people out tight. Look at him right there. You see him out 3 or 4 feet above the three-point line covering tight.
Ellison went out on Price that time in the corner.
Goes after the three-point attempt, and it doesn't fall. Martin takes it back up and scores. That's his second offensive bucket of the day off an offensive rebound. And he has 4 points, all 4 of them on an offensive rebound. John Hudson just got his 4th foul at midcourt. That's his 4th.
That happened exactly in front of us, and I could not tell whether it was a block or a charge. From the angle we had, we could not tell. Now watch the ball coming up the right side right there. There's Hudson. Yeah, he had those feet moving. I think it was a good call.
I did too. He was moving a little bit there, and Hudson's going back to the bench. He went out with 3 fouls with 9:38 left in the first half. Now with 15:07 left in the game, he's down with 4, and we talked about his penchant for foul problems early.
Well, he got back in. What did he play? 2 minutes of time clock, running clock, and had to go right back to the bench.
Well, he's now committed 79 personal fouls in 23 ball games. That's nearly, well, it's about 3.5 fouls a game. Herb Crook, nope, and Terry Gould takes it away. I guess what that says is that John Hudson kind of lives in foul trouble in basketball games, doesn't he?
I think you could say that.
He's averaging 3.5 a game. He's pretty much on the edge most of the time. But he's been such an effective player. Leading scorer on the South Carolina ball club.
Kenny Payne cut for holding. Good cut that time by Shaw.
Second foul on Kenny Payne. 14:32 left in the game. John Hudson now with 4 fouls is on the bench. Tony Shaw has 2. Darrell Martin 2.
Fred, so far we've got Louisville out rebounding South Carolina 26-16. So Louisville's doing the job on the backboards. They're just having difficulty holding on to the basketball.
Yeah, and the shooting percentage has killed them too, but they're doing enough other things to stay in the ball game. They're down 7 right now. Price got in the air, nearly lost it, but got it back to Gould, to Shaw, to Price. 3 guards now in the Carolina lineup.
This is what South Carolina spent so much time on yesterday, was their half-court offense. And again, a foul by LeBradford Smith.
And that's his 4th personal foul, Larry. 14:15 left in the game. LeBradford Smith draws his 4th foul.
So 2 key players, 1 on each club. John Hudson, who averages 14 a game for South Carolina, and LeBradford Smith, who averages 14 for the Louisville Cardinals, now going to have to sit out.
Remember Keith Williams going out of the game at 19:08 with his 3rd foul. Well, he's coming back in. That's Manning for South Carolina. Here's Keith Williams. So both of Louisville's guards have some foul problems now. Williams has 3, LeBradford Smith 4. Abram has 2, Kenny Payne 2. South Carolina up by 7 with the basketball.
Pressure's backed off a little bit now. Williams not on Gould out there pressing with those 3 fouls.
Well, it would really be tough to play 40 minutes with the pressure the way they started this game, wouldn't it?
Well, what happens to you if you get in a situation where you've got so many fouls, you really have to back off because you don't want to take the chance of picking up that 4th one or your 5th one.
Gould, they leave him wide open, and Louisville didn't get that one covered, but they get the long rebound, and now Ellison's fouled by Gould. All right, let's take that one step further. That's the first foul on Gould. With the intensity they've been playing with, you're bound to get tired late in the game. Then you get tired, you start reaching, you commit more fouls, and you've already got a bunch of guys headed for foul trouble. That could really get serious at the end of the game.
But I've got to give Denny Crum and George Felton credit because they've used a number of players in the first half and here in the second half. Second half predominantly because they were forced into it because of people having too many fouls. But in the first half, give them a little bit of a breather. Oh, look at Ellison. Whoa!
Purvis Ellison. That was done with some authority, boys and girls. Purvis has 10 points now. Remember, he didn't score until very late in the first half. 5-point lead, South Carolina, 13:25 left in the game. South Carolina's going to call a timeout here. George Felton asks for the timeout, and he gets it. This one coming with 13:23 left in the game. 45-40, South Carolina leading Louisville.
Let's watch the Cardinal offense right here, which in the second half has included Mr. Purvis Ellison. What's that follow-up on Herbert Crook's miss?
Boy, what it's done with such great authority. Again, Ellison now has 10. There's Purvis. Been playing with a sore knee for about 10 ball games now. Averaging 17 points and 8 rebounds a game. A 6'9" junior from Savannah, Georgia. Louisville shooting 60% now in the second half after shooting just 32% in the first half. There's the rebound margin there.
Yeah, the Cardinals are really dominating in that particular area.
But still, South Carolina leads by 5. Price for 3. In and out. Tip try by Terry Dozier. And he has 19 points. 7-point lead to the Gamecocks with 13:03 to play. I really think that both teams now have begun to back off the defensive pressure a little bit. Maybe they just couldn't keep that up for 40 minutes this afternoon.
Well, South Carolina's backed into a zone defense now. It's a 1-2-2. You see Gould on the point of it, Manning and Price on the wings.
Payne tries a 3 and comes up short, and Martin picks the rebound off the floor to Gould. Gamecocks up 7 with the basketball now. Their biggest lead has been 8. This could make it 10, and it does. Price with a 3. He now has 8 points and a 10-point lead to South Carolina with 12:30 to play.
Reminiscent of his brother. Boy, he could really shoot the ball.
The Cardinals need to make a run at South Carolina here. Crook. Payne, Williams. Payne along the baseline. Didn't get it. Got an air ball instead. And Dozier has the rebound. Gamecocks with a 10-point lead in the basketball. Down low to Martin. Couldn't stick it. The ball is loose. Williams has it for Louisville. Felton Spencer's going to come back into the Cardinal lineup now.
South Carolina's zone is pretty spread out right now. If they can get the ball a little bit closer inside, they'll find Ellison wide open floating inside that South Carolina zone.
Keith Williams for 3.
Good answer. Good answer for the Cardinals. Keith Williams matching Price's three-pointer on the other end.
Williams now has 4 points on the afternoon, and it's a 7-point lead to South Carolina. Payne's going to sit down. Abram in the ball game now. Denny Crum talking to Kenny Payne as he takes him out of the lineup. Gould's going to walk it up now for South Carolina. 11:29 left in the game. I don't think any of these players are going to the sock hop after the game, do you? I think there'll be much dancing going on.
They still have them?
I don't think so. Well, a lot of people don't know what a sock hop is. It's a dance. Gould. Crook had a hand on it, and it's out of bounds, and it belongs to Louisville. And they shot back in, replacing Gould now for South Carolina. Louisville down 7 with the basketball.
And again, that zone defense being employed by South Carolina. You can see Shaw on the point of it. It's a 3-2. Spencer, Crook, and Ellison inside. Now it's going to be Mike Abram.
Nice pass from Crook out to Mike Abram near the corner. He has his 8th point.
But if you notice, each time Louisville's gotten that ball into the middle of that zone, they kicked it down on the baseline. Kenny Payne had 2 shots, and Mike Abram just had 1 from the same spot.
Reason for the substitution. Perhaps Payne had missed a couple, so they bring Abram in to try it, and he stuck the first one. Now Dozier off the baseline. Nope. Louisville down 5 with the basketball now. They've got the big lineup in there. They got Spencer, Ellison, and Crook along that baseline.
Now they go back to man-to-man. South Carolina has gone away from that zone. Dozier with a steal. Bad pass by Mike Abram.
Intended for Felton Spencer, but taken away. Shot of the wing with it. Price in the seam to Dozier. Good feed to Martin, and he's fouled by Herbert Crook. The basket will count. 6 points for Daryl Martin. Second foul on Herb Crook.
We talk about the great offensive ability of Terry Dozier and his shooting ability. How about that pass? Excellent move, and Martin got open underneath. Good cut.
Martin will go to the free throw line for the first time today. Has 6 points. 75% free throw shooter, a 6'7" senior. Hometown boy from Columbia. Last 2 years, he led the Metro in rebounding. See what he's done today in that department. It missed. 7-point lead, South Carolina, 10-12 to play. Keith Williams against Price. Crook. Abram. Lob to Ellison. Oh, what a catch by Purvis Ellison, and the Price fouled it. Ellison might have been hit in the eye. Kind of glaring at Price just a little bit. The guys don't like those little guys.
Let's watch it underneath right here. He says, yeah, this is my turf. Stay away from my area. Ellison makes a move inside right there. You see him grab him right on the arm. I don't think Price got him. I think he got more of the arm. He wasn't anywhere near his face. Brady, you know, we've talked about this so often about Purvis Ellison's ability to catch the ball in traffic and go up. He's got such great hands, not only in receiving it, but also passing it. I think he might be the best passing center in America. He gets the ball to the open man, and he's always looking for the guy who's inside and a little bit closer to the basket.
And they have the best hands of any center in America, too. Ball off the front of the rim, and Price grabs the long rebound. Louisville down 6 to South Carolina now, and the Gamecocks get the ball back with 9:55 to play. It's been a long time since Louisville had a lead in this ball game. Gould to Dozier. Dozier pulls up and shoots. In and out. Shaw gets the tip.
And he got it with Ellison on the left and Spencer on the right. We were right between both of them.
That is a big stick back, Larry.
Really was.
9:33 left in the game, and Carolina goes up by 8 over Louisville again. Crook throwing it off Shaw.
You know why? He couldn't find anybody open.
Yep.
Pressure was so great, he just decided to throw it off Shaw's leg and set it up again.
Crook. Now to Ellison. Something else he can do for him, Larry. He can get the ball on the inbounds pass in traffic. Williams, they leave him open, and he sticks it. Keith Williams picks up his 6th point of the afternoon, and now the 6-point lead to South Carolina with 9:15 left in the game.
Louisville's in the zone defense right now.
Foul can be called on Herbert Crook, and that'll be his 3rd foul. Payne has 2, Herbert Crook 3, Ellison just 1, Williams 3, LeBradford Smith 4, and Mike Abram 2 for Louisville. Now Barry Manning returns to the South Carolina lineup, replacing Brent Price, who hit 2 big threes for the Gamecocks. For South Carolina, Terry Dozier has 2 fouls, John Hudson 4, Darrell Martin 2, Tony Shaw 2, Barry Manning 2. South Carolina's really played well, Larry.
Yes, they have.
Both ends.
2-3 zone right now being used by Louisville.
Manning to Shaw. That's Ellison.
That's a double dribble. He just double dribbled the basketball.
He turned around and saw Purvis Ellison and kind of hitched. Ellison now covering Manning now.
South Carolina being a lot more patient with the basketball this trip than they have been.
15 seconds on the shot clock from the deep corner. Tony Shaw couldn't get it, and Ellison snatches the rebound away. Here come the Cardinals down 6 with 8:27 to play. Abram to Felton Spencer. There's a good catch by Felton Spencer, but he missed the shot inside, and now a foul.
Tough miss right there by Felton Spencer after a great catch. He got the ball and just wrapped his hands around it, turned around, looked right at the basket from about 4 feet out and couldn't get it.
Watch the substitution here. We'll talk about it in a moment.
Look at Spencer makes a little turn right here. Now there he is, wide open right on the inside. Might have been a little bit off balance when he threw that shot up too.
13 foul, 3 team fouls charged to South Carolina. That's 7 for Louisville. They're in the 1-1. John Hudson just came back in the game with 8:19 left to play.
He's got 4 fouls. Why not? You put the guy in there. If he gets his 5th, you go to the bench and put somebody else in for him.
Payne back in now, replacing Felton Spencer for Louisville. Terry Dozier goes to the free throw line. I guess at this stage of the game, Larry, he's another guy off the bench. You don't think in terms of starters and bench players now.
Well, that was a big miss and a big loss by Louisville. Ellison lost it out of bounds and going for the rebound with Darrell Martin.
8:18 left in this game. Dozier way outside. Gould.
Again, that 2-3 zone by Louisville. Good idea right here by Denny Crum. I think I would force South Carolina to take a few shots from the outside. They've got Brent Price on the bench, who's really their best three-point shooter.
Dozier, Martin, 21 seconds on the shot clock now. 7:51 left in the game. Crook went for the steal, couldn't get it. Dozier takes it to the bucket. Woo!
Yeah. What a move.
21 points now for Terry Dozier, and what a basket. And it's South Carolina by 8 again with 7:33 left in the game. Abram. Keith Williams. Louisville just hasn't been able to put together a run in the second half of this game, Larry.
Good lob.
Williams turned around and scores.
Good play. Good play inside by Keith Williams.
He has 8 points now. 6-point lead South Carolina with 7:09 left in the game. Shaw. Brent Price is going to come back in the South Carolina lineup now.
Pretty good idea. Yeah, they're in the zone defense. They stick the guy back in there to shoot those three-point shots.
See if they're still in that zone. They come back from timeout here. We have a timeout taken with 6:56 left in this basketball game. South Carolina's leading Louisville 56-50 at the moment. Travel arranged through Eastern Airlines. Come fly with the one. Cocky, the South Carolina mascot, with a hand puppet. This South Carolina really has been very steady in the second half of this game.
Big trip right here. Now look, let's see what happens. Mike Abrams going to shadow Brent Price. Looks like the rest of them are going to play a zone. Abram right there with Price. You see him at the point. Now watch Price try to make a cut. Abrams all over.
Terry Dozier with a shot from the outside. What a day he's had. 23 points for Terry Dozier, who is a candidate for the Ford Player of the game. Larry and I will pick that man at the end of this game. 58-50, South Carolina. Every time Ellison gets close to the basketball, he gets a crowd around him. Denny Crum screaming at an official that Ellison's getting fouled down there. George Felton yelling from the other end of the floor. 6:26 left in the ball game. I have to think Louisville's got one run in them somewhere, Larry.
Well, South Carolina's now come back with that pressure again. They've gone out of that zone defense. They've been out of it for about 4 trips, and they've really put it back on Louisville.
Abram very deep on the wing. Dozier out covering. Williams defended by Price. Gould has Abram. Hudson has 4 fouls, and he's been guarding Ellison, and he takes the ball away as it comes inside.
Kenny Payne threw it right into the hands of the South Carolina defense.
But you have to go to Ellison now if Hudson's going to guard him.
Well, I would think so, but not when he gets surrounded by 3 people. Kenny Payne's a pretty good shooter. You got to take that shot if you're open on that baseline. He missed a couple early, but you can't back off from it.
5:47 left in the game. Hudson from the top of the circle sticks one. 5 points for Hudson. Big bucket, South Carolina. They're up by 10 with 5:38 to play. They're going to have to get going. They do go to Ellison, and he's fouled. Dozier got him that time. That's the 3rd on Dozier.
And that time, Kenny Payne made the right pass. He lobbed it inside away from the defense, and Ellison with those great hands reached up, just grabbed it and laid it in and got the foul. That was a good play on both sides.
13 points now for Purvis Ellison. He'll go to the free throw line with 5:25 left in the game, and Louisville down by 8. Ellison 3 for 4 at the line today. That's short. And Price takes the long rebound down at the bottom of the circle. 8-point lead, South Carolina, 5:17 to play.
Now Louisville's gone out of their zone. They're back straight man-to-man.
Abrams now guarding Martin. Williams has Gould. Hudson defended by Payne, gets it back to Price, and Ellison's out covering Price. And looped it in and out. Louisville has the ball. How about Ellison covering Price at the top of the circle? Crook from the baseline, got it.
Okay, now, Fred, Louisville's got 2 straight baskets. They got momentum going. They were down 10, now they're down 6. If South Carolina gets a basket here, it could turn the whole thing around. If Louisville gets one, you can see Louisville's run start. It was a good point.
4:40 left in the contest. Dozier defended by Payne on the wing. Here's where the defense has to get it done for him, Larry.
Got to come up with a steal, at least force them into a bad shot so you can get the rebound and go to the other end. Louisville with 2 straight baskets. Hudson open.
Got a good shot. It's in and out. But they get it back, and Hudson's going to try it again, and he's got it.
Big offensive rebound on his missed shot. His own missed shot.
Back to the 8-point lead for South Carolina with 4:15 left in the game.
You may look back on that one as being the big basket of the second half.
Yeah, that constitutes about a 4-point swing. Perhaps Williams against Dozier.
Now an interesting change in defense. Georgetown's gone to a zone.
Trying to change the tempo, perhaps. Make Louisville take time to adjust. Crook sticks a tough turnaround jump shot. He has 10.
Herbert Crook says, I don't care what defense you show me. I'm going to put it in the basket.
3:43 left in this contest. 6-point lead, South Carolina again. So again, they're faced with a big opportunity.
Fred Herbert Crook is a money player. When it gets down on the line, he's the guy that's going to jump up and say, let me have it.
Abram on Price, way out on the wing.
But look at Abram's hands. You see him swatting at the basketball, only swinging. Always got those arms moving.
Payne giving Dozier a little bit of room. Abram giving Price none. Even 35 feet away from the basket. He's going to get right out on him. Hudson defended by Ellison. Ellison stay with him outside. Price again. 11 seconds on the shot clock. Price going to start the drive. The ball's knocked loose. Foul is on Keith Williams. That's going to be his 4th. With 3:06 left in the game, Williams draws his 4th personal foul. And LeBradford Smith is coming back into the Louisville lineup now, replacing Kenny Payne.
A little bit quicker lineup now with LeBradford Smith in there, taking Kenny Payne's place. With Mike Abrams, LeBradford Smith, and Keith Williams, it kind of gives him a 3-guard front out there. Crook a smaller forward than Ellison. That's a pretty quick club Louisville's got in there.
Brent Price will go to the free throw line. He's had a rare miss today. He had only missed 2 free throws since December the 9th coming into this game today. Missed one in the first half, 2 for 3 at the line. There's a 1-on-1 opportunity here. This club up by 6 with 3:06 to play. 63-56 South Carolina. Harry Manning's going to come into the South Carolina lineup now. Brent Price gets them both. He is going to go to the bench now. No, we got a timeout. Harry Manning will be in the South Carolina lineup. When we come back, there'll be 3 minutes, 6 seconds left in this basketball game. South Carolina, well, they've got some work to do. They're down by 8 with 3 minutes, 6 seconds left. Coach Felton has seen his club play well. We watched him practice yesterday. He really prepared him well.
I'll tell you what, he was getting after him, too. I think we would have to censor yesterday's practice because he was on it pretty good yesterday.
He mentioned that he wanted to at least split with every ball club in the conference this year. A win here today would give him a shot at doing that.
Fred, he's done such a great job. He was 15 and 14 in his first year last year. Took over a program that really was decimated and has turned it around, and they're really having a good year this year.
Don't forget that coming into this game today, there's a foul on Louisville. And Barry Manning, he says that Keith Williams shoved him. The officials say otherwise. But in 30 conference games to date this year, the home team has won 26 and lost only 4.
Watch Barry Manning right here trying to go up against Keith Williams. It's a good call. He ran right into it.
Yep, I agree. 3rd foul on Barry Manning. 5th team foul only on South Carolina. So they won't shoot the free throw. 2:58 left in this game.
But that's an important point because now South Carolina still has 1 more foul to give before they go to the bonus.
Now some of the players begin to get just a little bit excited.
They're all having a meeting at the free throw line to discuss where they're going to have lunch after the game.
Barry Gould is the unhappiest player in the group, with Bradford Smith trying to shake his hand. 2:58 left in this game. Williams. Louisville down 8. Big trip up court for the Cardinals. Crook going to work on the dribble against Martin. The lob to Ellison inside. Had it knocked loose, trying to fight and save it, and can't. South Carolina takes it away with 2:40 left in the game. Oh, the defense in this game.
Well, South Carolina can afford to be patient now. Ellison got a piece of it. Good follow by Hudson.
9 for Hudson. 10-point lead South Carolina with 2:22 to play. That is a big rebound and bucket for South Carolina. Williams, the dish to Abram. LeBradford Smith can't get a shot. Crook to the baseline. Good dish inside, and Ellison's fouled as he gets the shot down. John Hudson just fouled out of the game.
The Hudson or Manning?
Well, they pointed to Hudson on the first count the bucket. It's on Barry Manning. They looked at Hudson. But it's Manning's fourth foul instead of Hudson fouling out. Brent Price in for Barry Manning now. Purvis Ellison with 15 points now in the game. Remember, he didn't score until late in the first half. 2 minutes, 8 seconds left in the game. Louisville down 8. Down 8 still. And Hudson has another big rebound. Trying to get the ball out of there and does to Dozier. To Gould. 2 minutes, 4 seconds left. South Carolina with an 8-point lead in the ball.
Guarantee you the Gamecocks are going to sit on this baby.
Next question, Larry. Can hard work win basketball games?
I think it has in this one.
Well, I do too. Dozier double teamed and fouled. Mike Abram, his third. 1:48 left in this game. 66-58, South Carolina leading, and Barry Manning replaces Brent Price now. We're getting Manning in for defense and Price in to shoot the basketball. Huh?
Well, you got your designated shooter, your designated defensive player. I wonder how that comes as an acronym. DDS, Dr. Dental Surgery.
Terry Dozier has 23 points today. Make it 24. He's had a big day for South Carolina. 6'9" junior from Baltimore. Kenny Payne now replaces Abram for Louisville with 1:48 to play. Dozier could put the Gamecocks back up by 10 with the second free throw. Now Louisville's going to get a timeout here. So Denny Crum calls this one. George Felton bringing the Gamecocks in around him, having a chat with his assistants. 1:48 to play. South Carolina with a 9-point lead over Louisville here in Columbia now. Bill Heather. Our home court's interesting. You look at this arena. As fervent as this for South Carolina, the playing area would seem like a kind of a neutral playing area. I think teams just get comfortable at home.
Oh, there's no question that's true. It has become more so this year in the Metro Conference. Everybody's comfortable at home.
Mentioned the home teams have won 26 out of 30 conference games going into this one. And South Carolina holding on to a 9-point lead here in their home arena. Not very good free throw shooting.
You know, for the year, South Carolina's been shooting 71%, and Louisville's been shooting 71%. So both clubs under their average.
Well, Terry Dozier came back after the timeout to hit the second free throw. He now has 25 points. And South Carolina again with a 10-point lead. 1:44 left in the game. Williams to the circle. The dish to Payne for a three-point try. No good. Martin takes the rebound down. South Carolina with a 10-point lead in the ball now. 1:33 left in the game. Gould double team. Ellison fouled it. Purvis checking to make sure they didn't call an intentional foul. It's going to be a 1-and-1. Great player, Larry.
Fred, I think South Carolina is well on their way to breaking that jinx that Louisville has had over them. You know, Denny Crum's beaten them 8 out of 9 times.
Won 7 straight from him, in fact. Gould hit the free throw. South Carolina had lost 4 straight conference games. Louisville had won 4 straight. Those 2 strings are about to come to an end.
Of course, this is going to really throw a real monkey wrench into those standings.
Oh, boy. This will leave Virginia Tech in the lead. Manning with a steal. Oh! Yeah! Ice the cake. 1:15 left and a 14-point lead to South Carolina. Miss Payne saves. LeBradford tries for 3, and there's a battle going on down inside between Darryl Martin and Purvis Ellison. Now Martin throws a punch at LeBradford Smith, and Herbert Crook gets after Darryl Martin. Well, there's a melee over by the scorer's table.
is because those guys are automatically ejected.
There's apparently some fans behind the scorer's table that maybe got into it too. But now Purvis Ellison is trying to get over the scorer's table, and so is one of the other players over there. I think it's Kenny Payne. Ellison and Payne tried to go over the table. I'll tell you what, there are some unhappy people here right now.
I wish we could tell you exactly what's going on, but the angle we're sitting at, I can't really see anything because there must be 50 people in front of us.
Ben Dunn, one of the officials, Jones, one of the assistant coaches, and a policeman talking to Purvis Ellison there. A minute 6 left in the basketball game. Jim Price, the trainer for South Carolina, looking at somebody over there. Can't see, but is that one of the players?
I think it is one of the players.
I think too. We're screened and can't see it.
That's one of the Louisville player. Herbert Crook.
It was Jim Price, the South Carolina trainer, who was taking care of him. It all started down under the Louisville basket. Crook holding a towel to his nose, now going back to the Cardinal bench. Here's where it all began.
Now here's Crook and Martin. They're ready to square off. Oh, there's Crook. Martin threw a shot at LeBradford Smith and got him.
Hit him right in the eye.
Hit him right in the eye.
And now it's almost settled down here. And Herbert Crook, well, out here at midcourt. Now Barry Manning hit Crook. Now look here. That's a manager or somebody trying to help it out. Well, that's Perry Dozier who came off the bench.
There's Crook. He's involved. He's grabbed somebody there. They're wrestling over there. I think it's Martin.
I think he and Daryl Martin are tangled up there. Ellison right there trying to get it sorted out. Now he and Payne get pushed back on the bench, and Crook is back on the
look
Ellison.
Ellison's trying to make peace. He's just sitting there trying to make peace.
Now they take Martin out of it there, and he never got back in it from that point. But then some of the fans behind the bench, there's Brent Price with Perry Dozier getting him away from everybody. Dozier has a bad knee and hasn't been playing. But then something broke out behind the scorer's table there. You see Felton and Denny Crum both registering opinions. So the punch that landed was thrown by Martin. And there's Crook, who really got jammed back on that scorer's table and fairly got hit in the nose. They took some fans out of the arena, Larry, who were behind that scorer's table.
I think what happened when the two Louisville players got forced into the boards over there on the far side, some of the fans got involved. I'm not sure if anybody threw any punches at any fans, but I saw Ellison try to go over those boards over there by the scorekeeper.
Now the three officials are meeting at midcourt. They've got both teams back to their benches. The coaches are meeting at midcourt. Herbert Crook somehow got hit in the nose and all of that. He may still be a little bit stunned. There's a timeout here with a minute 6 left in the basketball game. South Carolina leading by 14. Things have settled down, and we'll be back after this from Piedmont.
There's such chaos out there, it is very difficult for the officials who are trying to break it up and try to find the numbers. And what we're trying to endeavor to find out is who's gone, who's going to get thrown out of the game, and how many technicals.
How many technicals have been assessed? George Felton would seem to be the unhappiest. So perhaps South Carolina has been hit with a harder penalty.
Where the hell is who is?
Now we're going to get some announcement on what all has been assessed here.
I don't even think the PA announcer knows yet.
That's Gene McKay. He's going to his notes over there. They've had to write it all down, I guess. Denny Crum, George Felton still talking to officials. So we're still waiting to find out what all has been assessed, but I think George Felton is the unhappiest with the penalties of the two coaches. So I'm going to guess that South Carolina's been hit the hardest. I may be wrong.
You know, and it might be a moot point. I mean, we're sitting here looking at a 14-point lead for South Carolina with 1 minute and 6 seconds left. There was really no reason to even get involved in something like that. You just go on and play the game out and let it go. Sometimes the tempers do get flared up, though.
The conference continues. Now Babiola goes to the scorer's table to tell the official scorer what he has. Now George Felton's going to go back and plead his case some more. The Louisville huddle. Might be time to sign the book and close it, Larry. 1 minute 6 left in the game.
You know what? If they throw enough people out here, there may not be anybody left to shoot the free throws.
But Daryl Martin is still out on the floor with his teammates, so apparently he's still in the game.
I really wish we could tell the fans exactly what's going on, but we're as much in the dark as it appears everybody else is in this Coliseum.
It's Kenny Klein, the sports information director of Louisville, trying to help sort something out. All right, we'll get rid of our silkworms. You take away 3 aircraft carriers. We'll give up some bombers.
Well, I'll tell you what, it looked like the Persian Gulf there for about 2 minutes.
A little more organized, maybe. The fans have been standing all through this. Babiola still talking to the official scorer, George Felton. Is talking to the PA announcer, who can't help him very much right now. Now Denny Crum comes back. What if technicals have been assessed to the crowd for getting involved in it over there?
We'll have to wait and find out. I'm not sure. I think we're getting ready for an announcement here. I think Kenny Klein now is talking to the public address announcer. The referees have moved to one end of the court. It may take us 4 or 5 minutes to shoot free throws.
Been some technicals, at least on South Carolina. Here we go.
Attention, ladies and gentlemen. We'll try to straighten this out for you now. The officials have decided that for Louisville, Herbert Crook and LeBradford Smith have been ejected. For Carolina, Terry Gould and Daryl Martin are ejected. There's a technical on a Carolina fan for hitting a Louisville player.
Fred, they're going to shoot 6 technicals. They're going to get 2 for each ejection and 1 for the fan.
Yep. This could be an 8 or 9 point run here for Louisville. They're down 7 at the moment. The Payne's still up there shooting them. They have hit 4 out of 5 so far. Make it 5 out of 6. It's now a 7-point ball game. There's still 1 minute 6 to play in this thing.
Well, they've got 2 more now. Not sure about that. I thought the 2 ejections would bring you 2 shots for each player and 2 from the fans.
Brent Price is going to shoot some down at the other end for South Carolina. Who lines up for the basketball?
Well, it would become a jump ball situation. The possession arrow then would be in favor of Louisville.
Right. Did you hear the announcement then? Crook and Smith have been ejected for Louisville. Gould and Martin for South Carolina. And in addition, a South Carolina fan was called for a technical foul for getting involved in the fricas. 1 minute 6 left, and Terry Dozier is going to go to the free throw line. I thought it was going to be Price. 25 points for Terry Dozier on the afternoon. It's gone from 14 points down to 5. Wait a minute, they didn't make 9.
That score was 72 to 58, I thought, when we started all this.
It was 72 to 58. We need to check on that score now. They got 73-67 up there. It was 72-58 when all that started, unless the scoreboard was wrong then. Terry Dozier now suddenly is on ice cold at the free throw line.
Now the officials over talking to George Felton.
May never get this game restarted.
I think Felton's been ejected.
There he goes. George Felton's walking out of the arena. All right, they made 6 free throws, but they've got 9 points on the board. All the intentional technicals are charged to the head coach, so he has to leave. There goes Felton's been watching the doorway. All those technicals get charged to the head coach, even though he didn't have one personally. They're all charged to him, so he has to leave. 73-67 South Carolina. Bob to Felton. Spencer. Foul on John Hudson. He's fouled out of the ballgame. Hudson fouls out with 58 seconds to play.
It's a remarkable turnaround. Incredible turnaround for Louisville.
Now Purvis Ellison will go to the line.
John Hudson is fouled out of the game. That was his 5th foul, and now they're going to reach down on the bench. It looks like Breckenridge is going to come in. Eddie Payne, the assistant coach, has got to take over for George Felton.
Here's Breckenridge. Now Craig Hawley is going to try to check into the Louisville lineup. The lineup for Louisville, I guess we should tell you this. Purvis Ellison, Keith Williams, Mike Abram, Felton Spencer, and Kenny Payne are out there. For South Carolina, Manning and Price, Breckenridge. Terry Dozier is out there, and Shaw. Now, there's the South Carolina assistant, Eddie Payne on the bench. Felton Spencer will be at the free throw line. Out of bounds, it'll be Louisville basketball with 57 seconds to play.
Well, they've got to start thinking about shooting those 3-point goals right now. Down by 6. You know South Carolina is going to force them to go inside. They don't want to give up those 3-point shots. Keith Williams, Craig Hawley, Mike Abram are the 3 guys you got to look for. Payne's also a good shooter from 3-point range.
Mary, what happened with that score, in the midst of all that, LaBradford Smith had hit a 3-point goal. Somewhere in there, he was credited with a 3-point goal. Ellison sticks it. Now 44 seconds to play. And Louisville's just 4 points back. So LaBradford Smith had hit a 3. And now, after all that free throw shooting, Louisville hit 6 free throws. And they're down by 4 points with 44 seconds to play. Terry Dozier made just one of his free throw attempts.
Fred, I'm not sure about this, but when they were getting into that fisticuff at the free throw lane, wasn't the ball out of bounds? They were holding the ball underneath the basket, ready to inbound it. And no one was shooting the basketball. I don't know how he got credited for a 3.
I don't either. 73-69. South Carolina, the score right now. There's Herbert Crook still sitting on the Louisville bench. He's been ejected from the game, as has LaBradford Smith. Gould and Martin were ejected for South Carolina. George Felton, the coach, is outside that door somewhere because all 3 of the technicals, including one on a fan, were charged to George Felton, and he had to leave the game. He's outside that door somewhere. Can't do anything to help his team. He may be back in the office watching us right now. 44 seconds left, 73-69. It has not been your typical afternoon in the gym, guys.
And that's the reason Eddie Payne's coaching right now, is because South Carolina was tagged with those 3 technical intentional fouls, intentional technicals. It just gets very confusing. You'll talk to officials about this. Well, let's watch the gameplay right now.
Dozier having trouble. Gets it into Breckenridge, and now a foul is called on Purvis Ellison, his 3rd. 42 seconds left. South Carolina leading by 4. And they're going to have John Breckenridge go to the line. He's 5 for 8 this year. Now Felton Spencer's going to return to the Louisville line. You know, do you think this hasn't been a tough game for the officials?
Oh, Lord. And not only because of just the last 2 minutes of playing time, but the entire ball game has been tough because of the way they played such good defense.
All right, let me add, I think they've handled it very well. Breckenridge missed. The ball to Louisville. 39 seconds to play. The Cardinals down by 4. Keith Williams against Price. Payne, 33 seconds to play. Williams lobs to Felton Spencer, wanting the shot, takes it up. He's fouled. The basket doesn't go. Boy, if that one goes down, that could really be big. But Felton Spencer will go to the free throw line with 27 seconds to play. And Louisville down 4.
Felton Spencer with a chance to get his club within 2.
Foul was on Brent Price, his second. Now a timeout call. It has not been, as I said, a normal afternoon. And again, we've got some time here now, Larry, with the time. I don't want to go back. I really think the officials did the best they could at getting that thing settled down. It broke out down in the circle, and then at midcourt, and then all of a sudden there are players maybe over a 70-foot span getting into it, the fans getting into it, players coming off the bench getting into it.
Yeah, the problem was we'd love to report and tell you exactly what happened, but in our position, we couldn't see anything going on because there were so many people. There must have been 50 or 60 people right there in front of us.
You take a look at the people who help make these telecasts possible. And most of the melee that took place over the bench, Larry, they're across the court from us, and there's just a big pile of bodies over there, and really couldn't see who was doing what to whom down in there.
Well, I want to get back for just a second and talk about the reason George Felton was thrown out of the game. Those were intentional technical fouls, and those are assessed to the coach, and he has to leave on that third one. That's why he's off of that bench and back there watching from somewhere around the door over there.
So 4 players have been ejected. Some fans have been taken out. Felton Spencer goes to the line. Louisville still has the chance to come back and win this thing. 27 seconds left. The Cardinals are down 4. Here's Felton Spencer. That's Denny Crum. Felton Spencer on the line. It's a 3-point ball game. Two-point ball game with 27 seconds to play.
Good move here.
Replaces Spencer.
Yeah, good move by Denny Crum. Gets a little quicker to line up in there. He's got Spencer now off on the side. Gets that defensive lineup in.
Dozier throwing long for Shaw. Payne there. Shaw balance and misses. Louisville has the ball with 23 seconds to play. Now the ball knocked loose. Payne saves to Williams. 18 seconds to play. South Carolina fighting to get it back. Dozier at the baseline to Manning. 12 seconds to play. Price is in open court with it. 8 seconds to play. South Carolina trying to hold on and win it. 4 seconds left and a foul called on Louisville.
Tell you what, that was a wild flurry of action.
Oh, Terry Dozier.
I thought maybe Shaw was going to take care of the ball and just dribble it on back out. He really threw up a badly off-balance shot.
Yeah, he did. South Carolina managed to get it back. Dozier will be on the line when we come back, Larry. Remember, in all the technical free throw shooting, he had 1 out of 5 attempts down there. There's George peeking around the corner. George Felton asking somebody, I don't know if that's his wife, asking somebody what's going on.
That must be tough to have to coach from out in the arena outside.
How painful would that be? Welcome to La La Land.
Well, obviously, if Dozier can walk up here and make these 2 free throws, South Carolina's going to walk away with a victory. Hard-fought victory. Literally hard-fought.
There's Herbert Crook. Yeah, he might have been a little bit shaken up and dazed and all that. Crook has just been sitting on the bench since all that happened, and he sat on the scorer's table for a long time holding a towel to his nose. He still looks kind of dazed sitting over there, Larry.
I tell you, in all that melee, I really felt like LeBradford Smith was the one that really got tagged worse than anybody. Martin really hit him with a shot.
Yeah, that's where it all really, well, it started down under the basket with some wrestling, but after they got it sorted out, Martin threw a punch over someone and hit LeBradford Smith in the left eye, and then it all began. Crook stalked him to midcourt. He and Martin then started into it. And everybody, as the old Irish song says, and they all began to fight. It was the biggest mix-up that you have ever seen.
Now can all be settled just by 2 free throws by Terry Dozier. Louisville's going to take another timeout.
4 seconds left in the game. We've got another timeout. 73-71 South Carolina. And we're back after this from Piedmont.
Introducing
There's the score. 2-point lead South Carolina. 4 seconds left. If Dozier makes the free throw, he can just about ice it. If he doesn't, Louisville is going to get a shot at winning this thing. That's big. That is very, very big, and this one could ice it. 74-71 South Carolina. The 27th point in the ball game for Terry Dozier. 6 rebounds to go with it. They get a 3-point shot.
It's got to be
a chance
Hawley
to tie it. Hawley fires for 3. Got it! In overtime.
OT.
I don't believe it. Craig Hawley just sent this game to overtime. Unbelievable. Craig Hawley, you said it was a good move when you brought him off the bench.
Biggest shot that young man has ever made in his career.
Oh my goodness. Craig Hawley, a sophomore from Noblesville, Indiana, hit his first 3-point goal of the year. He had only tried 2 all year. He was 0 for 2. Larry, Craig Hawley, averaging 2 points a ball game, just exceeded his average with this one shot.
Fred, watch Ellison get the ball to Hawley. Right to the middle of the floor. He's about 40 feet out and nothing but the bottom of the net.
It is 74-74, and we go to overtime.
You know, I could have almost predicted this. We've had everything else in this basketball game. Why not overtime?
Why not? Let's think about a few things now. Who's in foul trouble here? First of all,
Who's left?
Crook and Smith are gone. Louisville has Kenny Payne with 2. Ellison has 3. Keith Williams 4. Mike Abrams 3. Felton Spencer 2. They're in decent shape. For South Carolina, Gould and Martin have been thrown out of the game. Dozier has 3 fouls. John Hudson is fouled out. He's gone. Shaw has 3. Barry Manning has 4. It's not beyond the realm of possibility. We may be a player or 2 light before this afternoon comes to an end. 5-minute overtime coming up. 74-74 tie. And Louisville has the basketball. Abram to Ellison and knocked loose in the lane. It's out of bounds to South Carolina.
Good hustle on the inside that time. I think Ellison made 1 too many passes. He had a shot and should have gone ahead and taken it in. This must be excruciating for George Felton to have to stand over there and listen to this.
I think I see him standing in the doorway over there watching. Dozier. Dozier in the lane, shots up. Oh, what a day he's had. 29 points for Terry Dozier.
And he traded off for that 1 free throw that he missed.
Yes, he would. They could be back in the locker room celebrating right now. 76-74, South Carolina. 4:22 left in the game. 29 points now for Terry Dozier.
South Carolina's back in his own defense. Sort of a 2-3. Breckenridge right in the middle of it. Louisville's got their good 3-point shooters. Payne, Williams, and Hawley all out there.
Keith Williams for 3. Off the heel of the rim. Williams trying to get the ball back. It's loose on the floor and picked up by South Carolina. Tony Shaw came up with it. Gamecocks up by 2. 3:53 to play in the overtime. You remember that South Carolina led by 14 when all that began with 1:06 left in the game?
That's right.
Well, what an afternoon.
You know, I thought I'd seen everything in basketball.
Guess I was wrong. Price with a great move.
Brent Price. 4-point lead, South Carolina. 3:27 left in the overtime. Hawley, Purvis Ellison wants a shot. Foul, the shot.
Yes, he got it. Good move by Purvis Ellison.
21 points now for Purvis Ellison.
And Freddie set it up with an excellent pump fake. He got Breckenridge up in the air, drew him down, and got the ball in the basket.
And for all the great afternoon that Terry Dozier has had, he had tough free throw shooting luck after all those technical fouls that he was shooting, and missed the second one. Some confusion of whether to count the basket or not. It does count. Barry Manning just fouled out of this ballgame. The foul was on Barry Manning. He fouls out with 3:18 left in the overtime. Gould has been thrown out of the game, as has Darrell Martin. John Hudson is fouled out, so South Carolina now -4 players. Crowd wanting to vote on who the substitute will be, and it's going to be Michael Glover, who was in the game in the first half for a while. 78-76 South Carolina, 3:18 left in the overtime. Purvis Ellison trying to complete a three-point play now. 22 for Purvis Ellison and a 1-point lead for South Carolina. Full court pressure applied. Price in some trouble. Gets the ball out to Glover. He wants help. Picks up the dribble. Gets it to Tony Shaw.
Good pressure that time by Louisville. Good full court pressure. Louisville now in their man-to-man defense. Hawley's on Price. Boy, he's got a tough job there.
Dozier against Payne. Price against Hawley.
Under 3 minutes.
Glover. Abram with him. 15 on the shot clock. To the baseline they go. Breckenridge blocked by Purvis Ellison. And Louisville could take the lead with 2:41 left in the overtime. Big block from Purvis Ellison, who now has 70 on the year.
South Carolina's going to stay in that zone defense. 2-3, Ellison and Abram trying to make up their mind where they're going to go. Now they move Payne to the corner.
Keith Williams, Payne for three.
Yes!
Louisville is in front 80-78 as Kenny Payne sticks a big three from the corner. He has 22 points. The Cardinals' first lead since way back in the first half. They led by 2 very early in the game. Now Payne has been called for a foul. That's his third. Louisville's last lead in the opening minutes of the ball game. Well, remember they got in that thing or exchanged and lead midway through the first half.
You know, Fred, what really started out as a basketball game that we thought was very, very slow, it gathered momentum, and it was like a snowball rolling down a mountain.
Terry Dozier on the free throw line. So he's having a tough day at the line. Here comes Louisville now with a 2-point lead in a basketball. Or as you know, I'm involved in baseball. There's an old adage, if you're winning, don't get involved in the fight. If you're losing, it might help you. Think who was winning this game when that fight broke out. And who was losing and how it's going now. Brent Price called for the foul.
It really has been their problem today. If they could have converted those free throws, they could have walked out of here and they'd have been on their way.
Terry Dozier hit 2 of his last 7 attempts. Brent Price, who had missed twice since December 9th, has missed twice today, both times on the front of a 1-and-1. 4th foul on Purvis Ellison. Glover off the heel of the rim. Williams is gone. Now Mike Abram is gone. They have Shannon Fraley over there, a freshman who walked on, who hasn't played much and is going to right now.
How about this? In the biggest ball.
He has 24 points now. Price for 3. Off the heel of the rim. Spencer. Boy, he's having a great overtime period. But now the ball in a scramble on the floor. Bodies are piled up everywhere. The possession arrow belongs to Louisville.
Purvis Ellison is standing in midcourt. He's refereeing. He's right at midcourt, standing there pointing to Louisville's end.
There's the arrow. So Louisville has the ball and a 3-point lead. Timeout taken here. 57 seconds left in the second overtime. Louisville in possession of the ball, leading South Carolina 91-88. Denny Crum become the one remaining coach, head coach anyway, with 57 seconds left. George Felton back in a hallway watching because he was ejected because his team was hit with 3 intentional technical fouls and he had to lead. Louisville 3-point lead in the ball. Ellison gets it to Hawley. 51 seconds left in the second overtime period. Hawley double teamed to Ologist. Ellison standing all alone under the bucket. They didn't get it to him. Spencer back out to Hawley. 40 seconds left in the game. 91-88 Louisville. Hawley double team. Trying to get it out of there. Does. Now Spencer's down low. 18 seconds on the shot clock, excuse me. 27 in the game. And now we've got a foul out at midcourt called against Michael Glover.
So Craig Hawley walks to the line now with a chance to ice this one for the University of Louisville. If he can make both of these, that would put them up by 5 and 26 seconds left to play. Terry Dozier's been an Iron Man today, Fred. He's played every minute but 2 in this ballgame.
Isn't that amazing? Craig Hawley at the free throw line. Big free throw. He hit the 3 at the gun that sent this thing to the first overtime. Now he puts Louisville up by 4 with 26 seconds left in the second overtime. Bill Verneau, a 3-point shooter, now replaces Michael Glover for South Carolina. And Louisville's going to call a timeout now. 26 seconds left in the second overtime. Louisville's got a timeout. 92-88. The Cardinals lead South Carolina. We'll be right back. This club ahead by 4 now, and Hawley going back to the free throw line. Larry, with 1:06 left in the game, Louisville was down 14 points. Bradford Smith hit a 22-foot jump shot. A fight broke out, and Louisville came all the way back, and now they lead by 4 with 26 seconds left in the second overtime. There's a miss, but Kenny Payne saves the rebound for Louisville. Well, Hawley, we've had nearly 3 hours of basketball here today. And a foul against South Carolina with 21 seconds left in the second overtime.
Well, I got an explanation now. I can see it in front of me of all the free throws that were shot. After the 3-point shot by Bradford Smith, which gave him 3 points, Ellison shot 2 free throws. Those were the 1-and-1s. Then the 3 intentional technicals were shot by Payne, and those were the 6 free throws they shot, plus the 2 by Ellison was a total of 8. I had lost 2 free throws in there somewhere.
Craig Hawley, who's really been a very important guy for Louisville. He hit the 3 at the gun that tied it at the end of regulation. Now comes back and gets that free throw down, and Louisville is about to put this thing away. The Cardinals lead by 6 with 21 seconds left in the second overtime. They got to have a 3. Price tries one off the front of the rim. Spencer had it. Ellison's got it now, and he's fouled by John Breckenridge, and that's going to be an intentional.
Yep, 1-and-1. Yeah. They just reached out and grabbed him.
12 seconds left in the second overtime. This is going to be for Louisville.
Oh, it's a big comeback. Big comeback. He got that 3-point goal, too. He's played well in the 2 overtimes.
Purvis Ellison, 24 points on the afternoon. Give him 25. 95-88 Louisville with 12 seconds left in the second overtime. I believe this team was down 14 points with 1:06 left in regulation. Ellison gets them both. He has 26 points, and it's an 8-point lead to Louisville. The biggest lead they've held all day. Dozier tries for 3. Won't fall for him. Felton Spencer with another big rebound. Craig Hawley up to Kenny Payne for the exclamation point. That's the ball game. Louisville wins it 98-88. In double overtime, the Cardinals are going to come away from here with a 10-point victory in double overtime. See Keith Williams slipping off the floor. He had hurt an ankle in the last ball game. This is a big win for the Cardinals here. And our player of the game today, our 4th player of the game, is Purvis Ellison, who finished the day with 28 points and 9 rebounds. Our 4th player of the game, Purvis Ellison. What a day he had. Larry, what a wild afternoon of basketball here. Again, with 1:06 left in regulation, South Carolina was up by 14 points. Bradford Smith hit the 3. A fight broke out after all the technicals were over with. Louisville was only down by 4. And they come back and win it in double overtime. Only the 5th win by a road team in the Metro Conference this year.
But Fred, there are so many times when you lose a game like this, you look back at certain instances that could have picked it up and won it for you. And I think when South Carolina looks back at this game, not only the fight, but they can also look at the free throw line as being their problem. They had a chance to win the game if Terry Dozier can walk to the line and make the second free throw and put it away, but he couldn't. And South Carolina's going to go down to a 10-point defeat and a big home loss.
And we have them with 13 for 26 at the free throw line in the second half of the basketball game. So that's the final. Louisville in double overtime wins at 98-88. For Larry Conley, Fred White, thanks for watching. This has been a copyrighted presentation of Raycom Sports.